Working on it.
Need some sound.
There we got it.
Good morning, everyone.
Good morning.
You all made it out on this cold, cold day. And your car started. That's what counts. So my name is Sam Baumgarten, and I am your lay worship leader for today's service. And I very warmly, welcome you to First Parish Unitarian Universalist Church in Bridgewater. This week, Reverend Rosemary will be leading our service. Our ushers are Debbie Baumgarten in the back and Pat Hart filling in for me because I can't be in two places at once. Coffee hour will be Kids in the Kitchen today, so they'll have some special treats for us. I have two announcements before we begin our time of worship. One is that there's still a selection of cookbooks on a bench in the upper parish hall. Please help yourself to those. The extras will be donated soon, so if you feel like cooking, there's some nice books available. And just a reminder for those of us who sit in the front pews, in front of the pews where the folks in the wheelchairs are sitting, to make sure you stay seated or out of the way during the hymn so that they can see the screen. First Parish Bridgewater is a welcoming congregation. Love is the power that holds us together. We live our faith values by welcoming all people with love and open hearts. No matter who you are, no matter who you love, no matter where you are in your spiritual path, you are welcome here. If you are joining us for the first time today, we welcome you to share in our worship today as your whole self. We also encourage you to fill out the guest book at the back of the sanctuary. If you are, again, a newcomer, and for newcomers joining us online, there's a sign-up link in the Zoom chat. We have the camera running so that the service can be shared online, but the camera is turned off to protect your privacy during the sharing of joys and sorrows. In the event of an emergency, please leave the building through the main sanctuary doors in the rear, or if you need a ramp, through the school street entrance to my left. Thank you for joining us in worship today. Whether you are joining us in person or in Zoom, your presence creates our beloved community of faith. We will now begin our time of worship with the prelude. time for our chalice lighting, and I'll ask Arya to come up and light the chalice for us. Please join me in the chalice lighting words, which are up on the screen. We light our chalice to mark this.
A little longer. Now hold it upright. Good job. That have come here to explore the divine. Let us join our hearts and find the holy in our relationship to each other. It is time to share worship together.
Please rise in body or spirit, and let us join our voices for the affirmation of our covenant and aspiration. Love is the spirit of this church.
And service its gift. This is our great covenant, to dwell together in peace, to speak the truth in love, and to help one another. Everyone. It is good to be here together today. I want to make a note about our new chalice this morning. A couple months ago, I asked the worship committee, is there any really special spiritual significance to the current chalice? And they said no, which was great news because my dad makes chalices. He's a wood turner. He's made 170 personal UU chalices for people to use in their homes, and he agreed to make this one for us. The top is myrtle wood. He uses found, reclaimed wood from all over Northern California where he lives, and the bottom is redwood. And I think it suits our sanctuary pretty well. So please join me in celebrating the new chalice. Thank you, Dad. Yay. Our opening words today come from Reverend Michelle Collins, called The Soft, Stubborn Practice. Come to this time of worship, worn, weary, or wide awake. In this gathering, we acknowledge the pressure of living, the tender ache of persisting through uncertainty, the courage of continuing when clarity is distant. Yet, here we are. Still breathing, still reaching, still becoming. Today, let us embody resilience together, not as armor, but as the soft, stubborn practice of returning to ourselves, to one another, to the work of love. You're now invited to rise in body or spirit and join me in singing our opening hymn. It's number 90, From All the Fret and Fever of the Day.
Thank you.
Storybook, today a time for all ages. It's called Chick Chock Shabbat, and it's by Mara Rockcliffe and Kristen Booker. And I have a question for the kids here. Does anyone know what Shabbat is? Arya? Arya says no. Okay, that's okay. We're going to learn together about what Shabbat is in this book. But Shabbat is another word for Sabbath. And it is a day of rest, a day of community, and a day for many people to do their religious or spiritual practices together. Every Saturday, a wonderful smell wafted from apartment 5A. It curled into 4D, tickling Tommy Santiago's nose as he played his tuba. It slipped into 3C, tempting Signoria Bellagali as she bustled around, dusting her teacups. It crept under the door of 2B, tantalizing Mr. Moon as he sat typing his new romance novel. Even the Omar family on the first floor caught a whiff. They sniffed the air and smelled. At last, the door to 5A flew open. Out stepped Goldie Simcha, her face shining like a silver spoon. Come in, it's Cholent time. As her neighbors took their places at her table, Goldie ladled steaming stew into their bowls. While they ate, they argued about what made Goldie's Cholent so delicious. Signora Bellagali cried, "It's the tomatoes!" "Or the barley?" offered Mr. Moon. Little Lolly Omar piped up, "The potatoes." And the Santiagos all agreed it had to be the beans. But Goldie shook her head. "When I was a girl," she said, "I always helped my grandmother get ready for Shabbat. All Friday afternoon we rushed around, cutting up vegetables, sweeping the floor, dressing the table in its best lace tablecloth. Busy, busy, hurry, hurry, do it right away, chick chock. But when the sun went down, my grandma lit the candles and Shabbat began. For one whole night and day, we put aside the things that kept us busy all week long. While the cholent bubbled slowly on the stove, we spent time in a special way, together. I don't celebrate Shabbat exactly as my grandma did, said Goldie. But every Friday afternoon, I put a pot of cholent on the stove to bubble through the night and day. And when it's done at last, it has a special taste that isn't beans or barley or tomatoes or potatoes. For me, the taste of cholent is Shabbat. And all her neighbors raised their spoons and said, Shabbat. One Saturday, however, something wasn't right. Tommy's tuba played nothing but sour notes. Signora Bellagali's nicest teacup tumbled off the shelf and smashed. And Mr. Moon, exasperated, hurled the pages of his latest romance novel right across the room. The Omars sniffed and sniffed, but couldn't catch the faintest whiff. At last, little Lolly Omar climbed the stairs and knocked on Goldie's door. Goldie answered, her face buried in a tissue. Friday afternoon, I felt too sick to get the cholent on the stove, she said, and sniffled. Now it's too late. You can't make cholent in a hurry, right away, chick-chock. No cholent for Shabbat! When Tommy Santiago dropped his tuba when he heard the news. Signora Bellagali's feather duster flew into the air. Mr. Moon got so mixed up he put a monster robot in his romance novel and it squashed the hero flat. On the first floor, the Omars frowned. Poor Goldie, Mrs. Omar said. It just won't be Shabbat for her, Mr. Omar agreed. Little Lolly peered into the fridge. Potato curry isn't the same thing as cholent, she said. Still, it always cheers me up. and the Omars climbed the stairs with their bowl of potato curry. Mr. Moon came out of 2B with a tray. Curry and barley tea, he told them. Of course, it isn't cholent, but... Signora Balagali squeezed out of 3C. Tomato pizza. She puffed. It's not cholent, but... Tommy Santiago held the door of 4D open for his mother. It's not cholent, she admitted cheerfully, but everyone likes beans and rice. Goldie opened the door for them. She blew her nose, wiped her eyes, and smiled. Come in. Come in. Her neighbors took their places at her table, and they filled their plates. We didn't have time to make anything special, Signora Balagali apologized. We had to hurry, bring it right away, chick-chock. But here we are, said little Lolly Omar, together. Goldie took a bite of pizza, a nibble of curry, a mouthful of beans and rice. She sipped her barley tea. Then she looked around the table, her face shining like a silver spoon, and said, I think it tastes exactly like Shabbat. We'll now sing our kids to their classes. The words will be up on the screen.
Now is the time in our service for the sharing of joys and sorrows, those matters of great personal significance that touch us, our families, and our loved ones. If you have a joy or sorrow, please come forward to the front to light a candle. Please share fully but briefly into the microphone so that all may hear you. You may choose to light your candle in silence. Online participants are invited to share by typing joys and sorrows in the chat, and a volunteer in the sanctuary will read them aloud.
I look forward to adding that book to our church picture book library. I think it'll be a good addition. We come together carrying so many things from our lives, the joys that enliven us, the sorrows that weigh us down, and in sharing both, we hope that the sorrows feel a little lighter and the joys are more resonant. Today I want to offer us an embodied prayer. Our worship theme this month is embodying resilience. And boy, do we need resilience in so many ways right now. As you like, you can follow along with me or just listen to the words and receive. We do this periodically. We're going to start with putting a hand or hands over our hearts, sending ourselves love and care. Taking a couple deep breaths, feeling the rhythm of our breath grounding us in this place and grounding us in our bodies. Next, we'll extend that love and care forward, however you like, to this community, to all those around us. I invite you actually to just look around a little bit if you can, catch a glimpse at people's faces, maybe exchange a smile. Send your love and care to one another as we do every week. And then we'll think of the world, its great pain, its great joy, and we'll extend that love all the way out to the world, reaching out through our fingertips, spreading that love from this community. And then we'll bring our hands to heart center, praying for peace. And then we'll send that love to ourselves again. We'll do this a couple times together in silence. You can follow me or go at your own pace. May it be so. Amen, and blessed be. Please stay seated and join me in singing number 391, Voice Still and Small, our musical meditation. Our reading today comes from Reverend Lynn Unger. It's called Breathe. Breathe, said the wind. How can I breathe at a time like this, when the air is full of smoke of burning tires, burning lives? Just breathe, the wind insisted. Easy for you to say if the weight of injustice is not wrapped around your throat, cutting off all air. I need you to breathe. I need you to breathe. Don't tell me to be calm when there are so many reasons to be angry, so much cause for despair. I didn't say to be calm, said the wind. I said to breathe. We're going to need a lot of air to make this hurricane together.
Each Sunday, we collect an offering to support the ministries of the church and the mission of a community organization that shares our values. This month, our collection plate is being shared with SURJ Boston, which is a local chapter of the national group Showing Up for Racial Justice, a national network of groups and individuals organizing white people for justice, racial justice. Through community organizing, mobilizing, and education, SURJ moves white people to act as part of a multiracial majority for justice with passion and accountability. You may also donate online using the information on the slide there, and otherwise the plates will be coming around for you to give generously, we hope. This morning's offering will now be given and received.
Thank you, Eileen. That was the ritual gong of a metal water bottle. Anyone? I hear that a lot. Okay. It is good to be together for Sunday worship. And today I want to talk a little bit about the concept of a Sabbath. We heard about it in our children's book with the ritual of Shabbat in Jewish culture and religion. But I'd like to say that the way I learned about the Sabbath was from my colleagues, maybe not in the way you think. A couple weeks ago, I was in Albuquerque, New Mexico, for a wonderful conference with Unitarian Universalist ministers from all over the country. It's called the Institute for the Learning Ministry, which is a very formal way to say that we get together every 3 years and we learn things. And I spent a lot of good time with colleagues. All of us were, there for work, but we were also there for a little bit of rest. And it got me thinking about this profession's particular relationship with rest, which I think is mostly found in the email signatures of my fellow colleagues. I don't know if any of you have received an email from a Unitarian Universalist or other denomination email where the signature line, the little extra text, reminds people that that person takes a Sabbath. I went through my inbox and I selected a small sampling of the way that UU and other ministers tend to say this in their email. Monday is my Sabbath day. Thank you for your patience in honoring that time of rest. Please note that I observe the Sabbath on Mondays. Another. Please note that I observe the Sabbath from sundown Sunday to end of day Monday. I do not hold meetings or check email or voicemail during this time of sacred rest. That one's pretty clear. Replies will be delayed for Shabbat, Friday evening to Saturday evening, and for Jewish holidays. Another, please note that I typically respond to emails Tuesday to Friday, and Monday is my Sabbath day. Tuesday is my Sabbath day. Friday is my sermon writing day. My Sabbath is Friday, and I am not on email that day. All good, all clear, all a little taste of spiritual and religious professionals trying to set aside time in our lives for rest when we tend to work on the Sabbath for the rest of you. I don't really have a relationship with Sabbath in my own life. I'd like to say I'm good at weekends, which is as good as I can do right now. And my email signature doesn't mention anything about the Sabbath. Don't worry, this was not a test. But some of you probably know my email signature well. It says the days I work and the days I try not to work. Through labor history, we know that weekends have been earned time through union organizing and hard work of separating our lives into not being all about work, right? Into being about rest. Unions won for us the 40-hour work week, which many of us still aspire to. They won weekends, 2 days consecutively off of work. Weekends, though, are often kind of for work. I don't know about you, but I tend to clean my house or go grocery shopping, prepare for the week ahead, do chores, do errands that I can't do during my work week. But the Sabbath is kind of set apart. The idea is that it is for rest. We learn our practices of rest from our family cultures, usually, from our ancestors, our parents, our grandparents, our predecessors. And rest is most effectively negotiated for in groups of community like unions, or, as many of my clergy colleagues grumbly note, we didn't used to have kids' soccer practice on Sunday mornings. What's with that? One parent said, sure, I don't go to church, that's fine. And then another, and then suddenly many youth sports happen all day on Sunday. Tricky. So rest is not a solo practice, and Sabbath doesn't seem to be either. They're both something that we need community to bargain for, to set aside time for, and to practice together. My hope every Sunday is that you feel like this is part of your Sabbath tradition, whatever that might mean to you, a time set aside from the rest of the week. Reverend Anna Levy-Lyons writes that the goal of a Sabbath practice is not to patch us up and send us back out to the violent secular world, but to represent in the now what redemption looks like, what justice looks like, what a compassionate social order might look like. It is to reconstruct the rest of time from the viewpoint of Sabbath as unjust and untenable. A truly egalitarian Sabbath that lifts up a holy vision of the world to come performs really deeply political work. It builds an outside, a different space from the current world. And the self that emerges from such a Sabbath and re-enters the week is a changed one, a newly radicalized self, who can no longer tolerate injustice. I aspire to that kind of Sabbath. A day set aside, letting us look back at the rest of our days, the rest of our social norms as unjust and untenable. I don't think I'm quite there yet, but my spirit does definitely feel better when I find time for active rest, for rest in community. I have creative practices that renew me. I have time with my friends for ritual and for joy. Thursday, I was here all day working and in good meetings, doing good work with you all, when I got a text during our Committee on Shared Ministry meeting that said, "In bulk dinner at home. We have made corn chowder, Irish soda bread, and a cake. It will be hot when you get home." So I got to go home from work and enter this warm sanctuary that my friends had built. We made bridges, crosses, I ate corn chowder, I ate Irish soda bread, and I rested. It changed my whole day, from one where I felt tired to one where I felt nourished. It's in communities like these that we can learn how to rest together. We can resist that false urgency that presses on us, the one that says we have to be productive every waking moment, that we must quantify what we're contributing, whether through our hobbies or our work, our caring for people in our lives, our caretaking, our spiritual practices. The neighbor in the house behind me, our houses are connected, is an Orthodox Jew, and he is really, really good at the Sabbath as part of his religious tradition. From Friday at sundown to Saturday at sundown, he sets aside this time for rest as part of his religious traditions. And I support Jeff in this. He is an excellent neighbor. He always takes out the trash bins before I can, which is frustrating and impressive. He often shovels the snow before I'm even awake. But on Saturdays, when it has been snowing recently, we honor Jeff's Sabbath practice by shoveling a lot of snow ourselves. His Shabbat is possible because he has a community shoveling that snow for him, an interfaith neighbor who says, "Don't worry, I got it. I know you'll probably put the trash bins out on Thursday and bring them back in Friday morning before I'm even awake." I have been really grounded in this learning about rest and Sabbath by the work of Tricia Hersey, who is a teaching artist, a chaplain, a poet, a theater maker, a performance artist, and a community organizer. Her writing is grounded in the teaching of somatics, of womanism, of womanist theology, of Black liberation theology, of Afrofuturism, and her ancestors. She's the daughter of an abolitionist pastor, a native to the south side of Chicago, and she wrote a really excellent book a couple years ago called Rest is Resistance, a Manifesto, that I can't recommend more heartily. She writes that the rest as resistance framework does not believe in the toxic idea that we are resting in order to recharge and rejuvenate so we can be prepared to give more output to capitalism. We are not resting in order to be productive. That's a hard one. We are resting simply because it is our divine right to do so. She connects the idea of rest with all the theological and cultural traditions she comes from. And it's actually really, I think, countercultural to say that we are not resting in order to later be productive. I have to take a nap so I can cook dinner later. I say that at least 3 times a week. So I'm working on internalizing her words, this deep message that rest is resistance, that we deserve to rest. And there are 10 statements that she has that we can repeat to ourselves to drive home this message. So I'm going to list all 10, and you just choose one in your mind that works for you, and I encourage you to hold on to that, maybe write it on your order of service as a seed for this concept in your life. 1, I deserve to rest now. 2, I am worthy of rest. 3, I am not lazy. How could I be lazy? My ancestors are too brilliant for that. 4, capitalism wants my body to be a machine. I am not a machine. 5, I am a magical and divine human being. 6, I have the right to resist grind culture, the cultural expectation that we're always producing something. 7, I don't have to earn rest. 8, this might be my favorite. Do less. Watch how I thrive. 9, ease is my birthright. And 10, I will rest. I love this list because they're little ways into practices of rest, into knowing that we are whole and holy human beings exactly as we are right now. There's many in our world who might say that this moment we're in is a dangerous one, and we can't let our guard down, we can't rest. But Reverend Cameron Trimble reminds us that urgency without grounding turns into panic. When we're swept up in those false tides of urgency of the now and the now and the now, that's how panic builds in a society. And panic is what authoritarianism feeds on. They want us to be poorly rested, focused only on our output rather than connection and embodiment and resilience. And so we will rest. I want to end with a prayer for communities practicing many forms of resistance. I hope you see yourself in this prayer. It's written by Reverend Michelle Collins. Spirit of connection and love, please bless the many ways we resist. Those who march and organize, those who cook, donate, write, those who tend to the weary, who pray or hold vigil, and those who say, rest now, I'll take this shift. Let this wide circle honor every offering, visible or unseen. May we release those myths that define resistance in certain ways, and remember instead the truth of shared power. May this be our prayer to sustain one another's courage until quiet faith and public fire become one moment of love. My undergraduate institution, Wellesley College, had one day where we practiced rest well. The rest of the year, terrible. But one day in the fall was Lake Day. It was magic. The student council, our elected student body president and board, would decide on a Wednesday in the fall where everything would be canceled on campus. No class, no meetings, no normal things. A carnival would appear on the green, and you would get a note slipped under your dorm room door in the morning that said, "Lake Day, it's today, surprise." The tradition and commitment from the students is what kept this going, because the professors were always really grumbly about it. That was supposed to be my seminar. But Lake Day was a form of quiet resistance to the idea that we have to go, 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 go. I often waded into the lake on that day. It was often like the last warm day of the fall. Took a couple breaths, ate cotton candy, laid on the lawn, rested. As you go forth from this place, I encourage you to think about choosing your own lake day in your normal life. A day where you say, actually, no, we will not be doing this nonsense. We're going to interact with nature. We're going to be in community. We will rest. Blessed be, and may it be so. Okay. We have a really fun closing hymn. It's called Now Let Us Sing, and I'd like to invite the choir up to help me lead it, and then I'll come down there and say a little more. Okay. Over here with me are our high, bold voices. Thank you, sopranos. So if you feel called to the high, bold part of this song, sing along with us. Watch us. These are our grounded and resilient melody part. If you feel called to be grounded, maybe a little lower in your voice, sing along with them. And we'll get through it together. We'll do it at least 3 times through, but watch me for the end. Sing to the power of the faith within. Sing to the power of the faith within. You can stand up. You can do it. Lift up your voice. To the power of the faith within. Everyone rise. Sing to the power of the hope within. Sing to the power of the hope within. Lift up your voice. Be not afraid. Sing to the power of the hope within. Sing to the power. Love within, sing to the power of the love within. Lift up your voice, be not afraid. Sing to the power of the love within. Sing to the power of the joy within. Sing to the power of the joy within. Lift up your voice. Lift up your voice. Be not afraid. Sing to the power of the joy within. Very good. Let's rest. Let's sing. Let's know we are divine exactly as we are, no matter what we produce, no matter where we are in our weeks. Go forth with joy and love. May it be so.
Time to extinguish our chalice, and Rosemary will do the honors. Please join me in the words for extinguishing the chalice. We extinguish this flame, but not the light of truth, the warmth of community.
Until we are together again. Our time of worship has ended, and it's now time for fellowship. Next week's service will be led by the recently ordained Reverend Shiloh Mallow Hoffman, a member of this community and a wonderful preacher. So be back then. I will be resting. Yeah, they're great.
Okay.
Thank you.
There you are.
Appreciate it.
Great sermon, by the way.
Thank you.
I have to tell you, what